Good afternoon. We're back with conversations with affiliates. I'm Danilo Petranovich. I work here at the Abigail Adams Institute. It's my pleasure to welcome Benjamin Paris this afternoon back to the Institute. Benjamin is a senior at the college. He concentrates in applied mathematics and government. Benjamin, what kind of major is applied mathematics?
Well, applied mathematics, it's an interesting thing. It's kind of what you make of it, I guess. It's primarily focused on giving you good quantitative tools to understand different problems, with mathematics, with things from engineering, statistics, that kind of thing. But, obviously, you also tend to specialize. You tend to, learn different particular crafts on a more technical level.
Got it. And you chose the major in applied mathematics off the bat in freshman year?
No, actually, I came in here thinking that I was going to do either electrical engineering or economics. Okay. And I guess if you average the two, you kind of sort of get to applied math, because it certainly has applicability in both of those fields. But the nice thing about it also is it's very open-ended, so it allowed me to, not have to just do something very technical, very focused, very specific. And also, it helps that it had fewer requirements, so I could take things outside of my major.
So it's flexible concentration that way. And so this minor or secondary is government. How did that come about? Why government?
Well, I've always been interested in politics, although my political opinions have certainly changed over the years, thankfully, I'll say. But no, in high school, I had always been interested in kind of political theory. I took a class in European history and seeing the sort of battle of ideas playing out over the course of modernity is an interesting thing to watch. And I came in, I got involved with the John Adams Society here at Harvard, and with you guys through them at AAI, and that really got me interested in. So my secondary in government is really a secondary in political theory, I like to say.
John Adams Society, the debating society, of course, here at Harvard University. Why was that so informative? Or maybe that's not the right word. Well, tell us about your experiences.
No, I think formative's a great word for it. My father made fun of me just lightly when I was packing for college. I put in a suit. And he said, "Well, what do you need a suit for?" And of course, the first thing I do is I go to this John Adams Society, and it's jacket and tie for the gentleman.
There you go, Dad.
Right, exactly. I called him right after I got done, and I said, "Hey, I used the suit. I told you." But no, they asked questions that nobody else was asking in any of my classes. I was in a freshman seminar that I really didn't like. It was called, well, it isn't taught anymore, so I can say it's called Language and Politics and Ideology in Society.
Okay, wow,
and
everything.
Yeah, it's running the gamut, and it turned out to basically be about very technical, analytical questions of philosophy of language and linguistics. Okay. John Adams Society was asking things like, does man need war? What is beauty, and how do we define it? And these higher questions that I'd never considered, and that I realized were really getting at what's true and what is the truth and how do we know it.
Sounds very interesting. Sounds very good, Benny. Tell us a little bit there must be some amazing classes and amazing professors who you've encountered here at Harvard. Give us some sampling, perhaps, or an example of one extraordinary class and one extraordinary professor.
Sure. No, I think a good combination of both. And I'm sure he's been mentioned plenty of times around here is Professor Harvey Mansfield. His Government 1060, the History of Modern Political Philosophy. I took it freshman spring then, and it kind of really cemented my interest in this sort of thing. His idea of thinking of modernity as this huge shift toward rational control, or this idea of indirect government is fundamentally a little deceptive or hidden in an interesting way, was something I'd never heard of. I mean, in high school, I'd heard kind of Locke and he has property, and then Rousseau has this kind of community idea, and then that's about all the political philosophy you get exposed to. So being able to hear all of these different theories about why these thinkers thought the way they did. Another one, if I can, to just highlight, is Professor Ryan Hanley, who's now at BC, taught a class my sophomore spring on the political theory of the Enlightenment. And that was a really interesting deep dive into kind of the big thinkers around there, and also it was very interesting to see everybody in the class, and especially him, wrestle with the costs and benefits, or the good and the bad that have come with modernity, and what all of that means on a political theory level.
Terrific. And in applied math and economics and math and your first interest, how about some examples there? What was a good class?
Sure. One of the best ones is Economics 1011A.
Okay.
Now I can't recommend it without saying that you certainly do need a math background to have that. It's economics with multivariable calculus. So it's microeconomics, and you do, he comes in his three-piece suit on the first day and writes equations faster.
Who's he?
This is Ed Glazer.
Ed Glazer, okay.
Professor. He comes in the first day and is just writing these equations on a chalkboard as quickly as he can. You can barely remember any of it, write any of it down. So he's an incredibly smart guy.
Yeah.
Works at the Manhattan Institute sometimes. He does some urban policy stuff for them. But what was really interesting about it is the idea of thinking of equations and models as encoding, right? There's a real phenomenon somewhere out there, and you kind of encode what that means as an equation. The equation might not represent anything. The function output might not be a quantity that we know how to name, but understanding it not as saying, well, people are just homo economicus, they are purely selfish, but saying, no, we can actually factor in. All decisions can be kind of abstracted to, you have a bit of an equation in your head, a rational function that decides, are you going to be altruistic? Is refreshing, and it definitely was a dive away from this idea of just people are selfish and they're going to pursue their selfish interests.
Interesting. We'll definitely note that. 1011A, I think it's the first time we've had an endorsement of 1011A here. I think I did 1010 sequence when I was a student here. The micro, macro, I guess advanced or maybe intermediate levels. Enjoyed them very much. Benny, you're a senior, of course. There's another semester left here. Hopefully you'll be back in person. We'll see how that works out. Any plans for after school, after college?
At the time we're recording this, getting my stuff together for applications. I'm hoping to study political theory at the graduate level, PhD. I haven't quite decided yet if I'd rather focus on the ancients or the moderns. There's lots of interesting questions, weird unanswered things in Aristotle as much as there are in Locke or Rousseau or Hegel or whomever. But definitely looking forward to that, and I'm also keeping my options open other ways. But
so you might be applying to graduate school in political science, political theory in particular. Wonderful,
definitely.
Benny. So I remember, of course, you've been to many events here at the Abigail Adams Institute. I know you asked some excellent questions, especially at our annual lectures over the years, and some of those are immortalized in our photographs. Anything else you want to say about the Abigail Adams Institute? How it has influenced your education and experience here at Harvard?
No, definitely. Abigail Adams Institute obviously puts on some of these amazing events, and the Christmas party is of course great, but they do a lot more than that. You guys are really doing the good work here. There are questions that even, you can't, not everyone can take some of these classes, and even those classes only tend to scratch the surface of these deeper questions, and especially around now, Harvard is not exactly willing to ask a lot of questions that deserve thought by thoughtful, interesting students around the area and young professionals alike. And Abigail Adams has been really important in allowing those conversations to happen and directing them in so many ways. So, of course, I'm incredibly grateful for you, incredibly grateful for the people who support you guys, the donors, the contributors. They're doing work that no one else would be doing if AAI weren't here doing it.
Well, Benny, thank you very much. It's a pleasure to have you as our student fellow, and this was very enjoyable.
Oh, thank you. Really, I always appreciate it.